I'd really like to start this sort of discussion point in getting a bit of a holistic and a broad perspective about that sort of the term innovation within Lendlease. What does it look like? What does it mean to you as a company?
So I guess we've been on a journey when it comes to innovation. We used to have roles, dedicated roles, head of innovations, innovation portfolio managers, innovation managers. And we felt that it was not really achieving what we were trying to solve as a company, as an organization, um, because really when it comes to true innovation, it should be how do we as a company holistically work towards the same purpose of really recently we've been disrupting ourselves, rather than expect the industry to start disrupting. How do we disrupt ourselves and question how do we actually approach how we, as a development in the development space, how we build, how we, deal with our customers, understand our customers, how do we deliver better products, better services, better spaces, and that is expecting everyone in the company to innovate and innovate towards a common purpose. So you don't have roles in innovation anymore. I think it's been a great, I think, discovery to say that you can't have people dedicated to have the job of innovating on the side, um, because it just doesn't work. It's not effective change transformation. It's not effective business integration. And it's really not effective innovation because you're kind of pushing innovation on the side. So it's really how do we set the foundation of really those critical purpose and objectives in what you're trying to solve and what are you trying to change and what are you trying to innovate as a company, as a culture, as a step change in what you're trying to achieve. Yeah. So
I find that fascinating because when you and I were first acquainted, years and years ago now, I remember so distinctly what I was so impressed about by Lendlease was, you had an innovation department. Until recently, you held that role of sort of head of innovation Asia, which we'll come on to in a minute. So that has, what I really like about what you've just said is it shows a mentality shift change within Lendlease that you are not an innovation manager who's effectively, I think personally, and I think you've alluded to it, that if you have that tag of being the innovation manager, the innovation director, you're where the buck stops. That's where everyone comes and knocks on your door rather than looking at it, to use your term, more holistically. So has it been a challenge to review the mentality of innovation, or has that been relatively sort of an easy transition?
I think there's a couple of things. So we have really tried to disrupt ourselves as culturally. So we ask ourselves, what are the problems we're trying to solve? How can we understand our customer and be really more customer focused as an organization? How do we deliver better, quicker, cheaper, faster without compromising quality? How do we get more efficient in our processes, how we work, the way we work? And then a lot of the innovation principles is how do we drive consistency and drive that 80-20 rule? Because if you're a company as ours, globally and locally, you don't want to rework. You don't want to start from scratch. So how do we actually create the 80-20 rule where you're driving consistency? And it's actually interesting that you're saying, typically you don't talk about consistency when it comes to innovation, but actually to be consistent as a large organization delivering a large pipeline, it does change how we work, and it really drives a culture of like a strong purpose to do, to innovate if you get the 80% right. And what we've done as an organization is also focus on really big targets like our mission zero sustainability targets, right? So when you're pushing really, really really strong targets in the market, and to your customers, to our stakeholders. And what that means is you have no, and everyone is on that purpose. As an organization, we're all part of, responsible and accountable to deliver those roadmaps, to deliver the Mission Zero targets. So as we align the culture of that, and we know the purpose of why we're doing it, such around our sustainability targets, all the way to how we operate as a, like almost as a digitally aligned real estate developer company. We we then everything we do is innovation, and everyone is accountable to innovate. And that's really what the journey has been. And I feel that yes, it has been a journey, but at the same time, no one in our organization questions why those are the purpose. Those are the goals and objectives. So everyone's aligned to achieving that. So we are all trying to innovate in order to deliver those core objectives of the business.
Fascinating. And I think for those of you who are watching this as an edit, when Helen's talking about that Mission Zero initiative on the ESG side, when she's talking about the sort of the being a problem first type company, thinking about the customers, we're going to come back to some of that in the future edits that you might see. So definitely have a look at other videos for me to sort of focus in on that in a little bit more detail.